Everyone smile, ready? My name's Hannah.
My name's Michaela.
I'm Matthew.
I'm Cody.
And we read Unbroken.
In Unbroken, it tells the life story of Louis Zamperini, who was an Olympic runner and a military bomber in World War II that survived being lost at sea and then years of abuse in prisoners of war camps in Japan. That's what the book is.
On Quadra Lane, after Louis' execution had been ordered, an officer had persuaded his superiors to keep Louis alive to make him into a propaganda tool.
This first quote explains why Louis was sent to the POW camp, a near-death instance for both him and his friend Phil. Without this, Louis wouldn't have lived to tell his story.
Messages began pouring in from friends and strangers all over the country, telling the Zamperinis of the broadcast, which had been interpreted and re-aired on several stations.
Through Louis' broadcast from Tokyo, his friends and his family were able to know that he was still alive.
Louis was seized by childlike giddy exuberance. Before he realized what he was doing, he was bounding down the aisle. In bewilderment, the men who had abused him watched him come to them, his hands extended, a radiant smile on his face.
This last quote is quintessential because it shows that Louis has forgiven his abusers and is no longer going to let them control his thoughts.
Okay, we rated the book a 4.5 stars out of 5 because we felt it gave a really interesting and powerful story, but it was just slightly boring in the introduction and a few other parts. The introduction in particular, it showed an interesting facet of his early life, but it also had a slightly slow introduction that some people might be put off by. And then after the introduction, it starts to get more interesting. It goes on a little bit about the plane and his crew, and then it gets a lot more interesting once we get into World War II and his bombing missions. That's where the story really starts to pick up pace, and we get interested, and you pretty much just don't even want to set the book down at that point. And then you get to a point where he's in the prison camps, and it's just you have to get to the end of the book to see what happens.
3 takeaways that we've gotten from reading Unbroken are to 1, always try your best and to give your best effort in everything that you do. That's just how Louis was, and when he tried his best with running, he tried his best with the Air Force, everything that he did, he just gave his best effort. The second takeaway that we got from reading Unbroken is to never give up, no matter how tough the situation may be. Louis went through some hard times in his life, but he never gave up, and that just helped him further on. Are we good? The third takeaway that we got was towards the end of the book, Zamperini shows that forgiveness is much more useful and powerful than revenge and hatred.
Laura Hillenbrand's purpose in writing Unbroken was to inform and educate about Louis Zamperini's inspiring life. She does this very well by creating some very tense and inspiring moments throughout the book that you're always led on to try to keep finding and continue exploring through the book. A few parts of it are slightly boring, but I think she does a very good job of entertaining, informing, and educating using Louis' story. And there are also 2 versions of the book, the original and a young adults version, which is slightly less complex. So if you wanted to read the book at a easier pace, then you could pick that one up. Overall, I think she succeeded in her purpose in educating and informing about Louis' story.
Thank you for watching our video, and stay tuned for images of Louis.